Welcome back to Talking Tech, Coby. It's good to have you.
Yeah, good to be back.
We've had a number of interviews already, so we won't go into the details of what Weebit does actually, because we'll assume people understand what the company does. So let's just jump straight into your latest announcement. You've announced that you've, for the first time, packaged memory arrays into single chips.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the significance of that announcement and what it means for Weebit?
Well, it's another step forward towards the commercialization. So now we can actually have those chips first. We can do additional tests that we couldn't do before in our lab. But maybe more important, we can actually take those packages now and ship them to partners. So if there's a commercial partner that's interested in exploring opportunities to work with us, we can give that to them and they can check it in their labs. We've been talking to quite a few universities that are interested in neuromorphic computing. That's a very interesting domain that's evolving rapidly. And now they can actually start doing their research using our memories. Right. So of course, these are prototype memories. It's not. I don't want anyone to think that it's a final product. But it's something that people can start using for research. Yeah.
Right. And how do you foresee them using these chips? And is there also some sort of feedback loop back into Weebit in terms of their findings, so that it might help you with your development?
Yes, definitely. We're working with them. It's joint partnership. Yeah. In the research, they're telling us what they're doing. We're consulting with each other and so on. So it's definitely a two-way cooperation.
Yeah. In your recent announcement, and just now actually, you mentioned neuromorphic computing. First of all, can you talk about neuromorphic computing, what it is, and longer term potentially what you can do with it from a sort of technology point of view, but also from a day-to-day sort of application?
Well, basically, neuromorphic computing is kind of the basis for artificial intelligence. Today, that's become a very hot buzzword. Yeah. Everyone's talking about artificial intelligence. You're seeing it no matter what you touch. It's there. If it's autonomous cars, if it's in your cell phones and so on. The thing is that today people are basically simulating the brain. You have neural networks and all kinds of other types of algorithms which are trying to simulate the brain, as similar as possible.
Yeah, all software based.
Yeah, software based. Yeah. And the thing about a ReRAM cell is it actually functions very, very similar to a synapse in your brain, practically the same way as a synapse in your brain.
Because of the filament between the two electrodes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So now you can actually emulate the brain, not simulate it, but emulate it in hardware. And that way you can achieve the same thing in a much smaller machine, orders of magnitude less power dissipation. It can be much closer to the way the brain works. So, this is still research. It's still, university level, but we definitely want to be there when it becomes something that moves into the industry. We want to be a key part of it.
Right. And how would you see that going forward? Would you see, just single chips with millions or billions of memory cells in there, your memory cells, sort of to sort of mimic an entire brain, or what do you think the hardware setup would be for that?
Well, I think it's too early right now. I mean, that's what the research in the universities is all about. But we're looking at it. I can imagine arrays of many memory cells. Somehow connected and having some software driving it. Yeah. Let's see. That's what all of these professors are working on right now.
So that's a key focus for them then, a neuromorphic.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is? And I know it's a long way out still for this to be commercialized, but given that it's probably one of the largest growing segments within semiconductors, so neuromorphic computing. What's your go-to-market strategy? And with that question, I mean long term, because again, it's not something that will happen overnight, but more longer term.
So first, I guess it's important to emphasize I'm focused on bringing revenue in the short term to the company. And the company is focused now on commercializing what it has today that can go to market quickly, which is the memory. Right now, the focus is on embedded memories, as we talked in the last time. But having said that, neuromorphic is something that we're definitely seeing as it's going to take several years. I don't know how long until it actually gets to the industry, but when it does. As I said, we definitely want to be there. We want to be key players in that domain.
Yeah. And it's a huge market. I think the numbers in terms of 2025, it's like 50, 60, 70 billion in US dollars in revenues.
Yeah, probably growing even. I don't know actually. It's I don't think that people have a real estimate of just how big neuromorphic computing is because it's going to be growing so fast. Everything's going to be based on it eventually.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so following last week's announcement and then looking, focusing a bit more on the short term, what are the sort of the next milestones for Weebit? Purely talking about sort of the memory cells right now.
Yeah. So, we announced our megabit array, which was a very important milestone for us. So now, we have what the market is needs for embedded memories. And the key is, we announced earlier this year, we're improving the parameters because now that we have, the size of the array and the geometries that are needed, now we need to improve, the read speed, the write speed, all of the other parameters, and that's what we're working on now. We'll be probably as we make progress, we'll be notifying the market. And in parallel, we're also looking at moving to 28 nanometers. So those are on the technical side, those are the activities. And obviously the most important activity for me right now is work with partners. We've been talking to many companies, probably close to 20 key companies that I think, well-known people will recognize the names. And now the goal is to make the next step with one of them to actually engage and make them a partner. So that's the big focus right now, getting to the point where we have our first strategic partner.
Right. And I think in looking at your presentation, the priority was to get one of those in before the end of the year. We announced last year that's our goal. We're working hard at it. I hope we'll make it before the end of the year. I guess worst case it'll be Q1, but in the near term, that's definitely the goal that we're working on. And what would you be looking to get out of that partnership?
Well, two things. First of all, there's the business side of it, that there will be an actual engagement and some sort of participation, either funding some R&D, potentially even some sort of investment. It's still open, but some sort of commercial engagement, plus having that partner give us the feedback on the technology. We'll start tailoring a memory cell or a memory array to their needs. Every customer has different needs, and we'll obviously focus on them first. So getting that feedback from them is very important for me.
Okay, excellent. So that's all happening probably then within the next quarter or the quarter after that. So let's say within the next 6 months.
It's the big focus. Yeah.
Excellent. Sounds good. A lot to look forward to. Thanks, Coby, for being with us.
Thank you.